The Illyrians were one of the most prominent ancient peoples of the Western Balkans, whose origins trace back to the prehistoric period. Archaeological findings indicate that they inhabited regions from the Adriatic Sea to the Morava River, with their society developing gradually over centuries. The Illyrians were a collection of tribes united by language and culture, although they maintained a certain degree of autonomy. This social structure allowed them to thrive, while their customs and traditions played a vital role in shaping their identity. Early Illyrian communities engaged primarily in agriculture and animal husbandry. The fertile lands of the region supported the cultivation of various crops, including grains, olives, and vines. The Illyrians also raised livestock, which was crucial for their economy and sustenance. Their connection to nature was deeply rooted in their way of life, influencing their cultural practices, beliefs, and social organization. As the Illyrians grew in number, they began to develop distinct regional characteristics. This diversification was evident in their customs, clothing, and even their burial practices, which varied from tribe to tribe. Notably, the Illyrians are known for their unique tombs, which often featured elaborate burial goods. These artifacts provide invaluable insights into their social hierarchy and cultural practices. The complexity of Illyrian society, marked by these variations, demonstrates a rich and diverse cultural tapestry that would influence future generations. Over time, the Illyrians came into contact with neighboring civilizations, such as the Greeks and Romans, leading to significant cultural exchanges. These interactions facilitated trade and the spread of ideas, enhancing the Illyrians' development. As they absorbed influences from other cultures, the Illyrians managed to maintain their identity, which is evident in their unique language and customs. The social structure of Illyrian society was complex and hierarchical, characterized by various classes that defined the roles and responsibilities of individuals within the community. At the top of this hierarchy were the noble families, who held significant power and influence over political and military decisions. These leaders, known as kings or chiefs, were responsible for maintaining order and protecting their tribes from external threats. Their authority was often derived from lineage and the ability to command loyalty from their followers. Beneath the nobility were the free citizens, who played essential roles in the economy and governance of Illyrian tribes. These individuals were often landowners, farmers, or skilled artisans, contributing to the community's prosperity. They participated in local assemblies, discussing matters of importance and making decisions that affected their lives. This involvement in governance reflected a sense of communal responsibility. The lower classes comprised slaves and laborers, who worked the land and served the needs of the higher classes. While their lives were often marked by hardship and limited rights, they played a vital role in sustaining the economy. Many slaves were prisoners of war or individuals who fell into debt, and their status could vary. Some slaves could earn their freedom through hard work and loyalty, illustrating a degree of fluidity within the social structure. This complexity highlights the challenges and dynamics of Illyrian society. Women in Illyrian society held important roles, although their status varied depending on the tribe. They were primarily responsible for household duties, but many women participated in agricultural work and family businesses. Some historical accounts suggest that women could inherit property and even hold positions of influence within their communities. This indicates that, while patriarchal structures existed, women contributed. Religion played a central role in the lives of the Illyrians, guiding their moral values and shaping their worldview. The Illyrians practiced a polytheistic belief system, worshiping a pantheon of gods and goddesses who represented various aspects of nature and human experience. Key deities included the god of war, the goddess of fertility, and the protector of the hearth, reflecting their close relationship with the environment. Rituals and sacrifices were performed to honor these deities, ensuring their favor and protection. Rituals and ceremonies were integral to Illyrian religious practices. These events often involved offerings of food, animals, and valuable items, demonstrating devotion to the gods. Sacred sites, including groves, caves, and altars, were central to their worship, serving as locations for communal gatherings and ceremonies. The Illyrians believed that the spirits of their ancestors played an essential role. Divination and oracles were also prominent in Illyrian spirituality. Priests and priestesses, believed to possess the ability to communicate with the divine, interpreted signs and omens to guide the community's decisions. This practice underscored the importance of maintaining a favorable relationship with the gods, as the Illyrians sought to understand the will of the divine in their daily lives. Such beliefs reflect a profound connection to the supernatural, emphasizing the interplay between the spiritual and the material worlds. The legacy of Illyrian religion can still be seen in modern practices and beliefs in the region. Elements of their polytheistic traditions have persisted, intertwining with later religious developments, including Christianity and Islam. The Illyrians' reverence for nature, ancestors, and the divine continues to influence contemporary cultural practices, reinforcing the idea that understanding one's past is vital for shaping future identities. The economy of the Illyrians was primarily agrarian, with agriculture serving as the backbone of their livelihood. The fertile lands of the region allowed for the cultivation of essential crops such as grains, olives, and grapes. The production of wine became particularly significant, contributing to both local consumption and trade with neighboring cultures. Livestock farming also played a crucial role, as herders raised animals for food, labor, and trade. This agricultural foundation ensured the sustainability of Illyrian communities and supported their growth over centuries. Trade was a key factor in the economic development of the Illyrians. Positioned strategically along major trade routes, they facilitated exchanges between different cultures, connecting the Adriatic coast with inland territories. The Illyrians traded various goods, including wine, olive oil, grains, and textiles, with neighboring peoples such as the Greeks and Romans. These trade relationships not only bolstered their economy, but also promoted. As trade flourished, so did the development of infrastructure within Illyrian territories. The construction of roads and marketplaces improved the transportation of goods and facilitated interactions between different tribes. This interconnectedness fostered an environment conducive to cultural exchange, leading to the sharing of ideas and practices that enriched Illyrian society. Economic growth during this period contributed to a sense of unity among the tribes, as they began to recognize their shared identity in the face of external influences. However, economic challenges also existed within Illyrian society. Internal conflicts and rivalries among tribes often disrupted trade and stability, creating periods of hardship. Despite these challenges, the Illyrians managed to maintain a resilient economy, showcasing their ability to adapt to changing circumstances. Their legacy of economic ingenuity and adaptability serves as an important topic for the history of the Illyrians is marked by wars and conflicts that characterized their struggle to protect their territory and independence. Renowned for their bravery and fighting skills, the Illyrians faced various external threats, particularly from the expanding Roman Empire. The First Illyrian War, which began in 229 BC, marked the start of significant conflicts between the Illyrians and Romans. This initial clash highlighted the Illyrians' willingness to defend their homeland, but it also underscored the growing danger posed by Roman influence in the region. The Second Illyrian War, commencing in 219 BC, aimed to preserve Illyrian independence against Roman encroachment. Despite their strong resistance, the Illyrians faced a well-organized and formidable adversary. The conflicts involved various strategies, including alliances with neighboring tribes, such as the Greeks, to bolster their defenses. However, these efforts often proved insufficient. By 168 BC, following a series of fierce battles, the Illyrians ultimately succumbed to Roman domination. This period is often described as one of the darkest in Illyrian history. However, even as they lost their political autonomy, the Illyrians managed to retain their cultural identity in the face of Roman pressure. Historical records indicate that many Illyrian traditions and customs continued to thrive even after the Roman conquest, becoming a precious legacy for future generations. The history of Illyrian Wars imparts essential lessons about resilience and strength. It illustrates how, despite immense challenges, the Illyrians maintained their values and identity throughout the centuries. Studying these conflicts helps us understand the development of Illyrian society and the profound impacts these struggles had on the history of Albania and the broader Balkans. The legacy of the Illyrians is profound and multifaceted, contributing significantly to the cultural and historical fabric of the Balkans. One of the most important aspects of this legacy is the preservation of the Illyrian language, which is considered a precursor to modern Albanian. Although many Illyrian words have been lost to history, some have survived and are still found in contemporary Albanian vocabulary. This linguistic continuity serves as a bridge connecting present-day Albanians to their ancient ancestors, reinforcing cultural identity and pride. Illyrian art and craftsmanship also leave a lasting impact. Archaeological discoveries have uncovered numerous artifacts, including pottery, jewelry, and weapons, showcasing the sophisticated skills of Illyrian artisans. These items reflect not only the aesthetic sensibilities of the Illyrians, but also their social and economic structures. The intricate designs and craftsmanship demonstrate a deep understanding of materials and technique. Furthermore, the influence of Illyrian traditions can be observed in modern Albanian customs and practices. Elements such as hospitality, community gatherings, and traditional festivals often draw inspiration from Illyrian cultural norms. These practices promote social cohesion and a strong sense of identity among contemporary Albanians, emphasizing the importance of continuity in cultural traditions. The resilience of Illyrian customs in the face of historical changes illustrates the enduring nature of their heritage. Historians and scholars continue to study the Illyrians, striving to uncover more about their society, beliefs, and practices. By examining ancient texts, archaeological sites, and oral traditions, researchers aim to reconstruct a comprehensive understanding of this remarkable civilization. The ongoing interest in Illyrian history underscores its significance in shaping the cultural influence of the Illyrians extends far beyond their historical timeline, shaping the identities and traditions of subsequent civilizations in the Balkans. As one of the earliest known populations in the region, the Illyrians contributed significantly to the cultural and social landscape that would later be influenced by the Greeks and Romans. Their unique customs, rituals, and practices laid the foundation for a rich cultural heritage that continues to resonate today. The Illyrians' artistic expressions, reflected in their pottery, sculpture, and metalwork, played a crucial role in influencing neighboring cultures. Many artistic techniques and motifs originating from Illyrian craftsmanship found their way into Greek and Roman art, demonstrating the interconnectedness of ancient civilizations. This exchange of ideas and styles enriched the cultural tapestry of the Balkans. Furthermore, the Illyrian influence is evident in the social structures of later societies. Concepts of kinship, communal responsibility, and hospitality, deeply rooted in Illyrian traditions, were adopted and adapted by subsequent cultures in the region. The importance of family and community remains a central aspect of Albanian culture today, reflecting the enduring impact of Illyrian values on modern social norms and practices. In addition to tangible cultural contributions, the Illyrians' historical significance has inspired a sense of pride and identity among Albanians. Their legacy serves as a reminder of the rich history of the region and the resilience of its people. By embracing and celebrating their Illyrian heritage, contemporary Albanians foster a deeper understanding of their cultural roots. The history of the Illyrians offers valuable lessons for contemporary society. Despite facing numerous challenges, they managed to preserve their identity and create a strong sense of community. This resilience demonstrates the importance of maintaining cultural traditions and values, which are essential for the survival of any nation. In difficult times, the Illyrians united to defend their homeland, forming alliances and preparing for battles. Their example shows that cooperation and unity are crucial for overcoming challenges, emphasizing the need for solidarity in today's world. Another important lesson is the deep connection between the Illyrians and nature. They possessed a profound respect for their environment, which contributed to the development of a sustainable society. Today, as ecological challenges increase, we must learn from their traditional practices. Protecting the environment and embracing sustainable development are key for the future of our communities. The history of the Illyrians also underscores the importance of cultural identity and heritage. In a globalized world, preserving cultural traditions is vital for ensuring a nation's identity. This involves understanding and appreciating our roots and history. The cultural heritage of the Illyrians encourages us to take pride in who we are and what we represent. It serves as a reminder that every people has a rich history deserving of recognition and respect. In conclusion, studying the Illyrians helps us comprehend how history shapes national identity. The lessons learned from Illyrian history are valuable for everyone and should inspire us for the future. Through education and recognition of history, we can build a stronger, unified society committed to preserving our cultural values. The narrative of Illyrian history is an important reminder to safeguard and nurture the development of Albanian identity in a changing world. The Illyrian Wars occurred during a critical period in ancient history, marked by the expansion of the Roman Empire and the strategic significance of the Balkan region. The Illyrians, known for their fierce independence and warrior culture, inhabited territories that were rich in resources and strategically located along important trade routes. This geographical advantage made them a target for Rome, which sought to consolidate its power in the Adriatic and control trade between the East and the West. Understanding the historical context of these conflicts is crucial. Before the Roman invasions, the Illyrians had established a complex society comprised of various tribes, each with its own customs and leadership structures. These tribes often engaged in intertribal conflicts, but they also displayed a remarkable capacity for unity in the face of external threats. The Illyrian social organization was characterized by tribal leadership, where chieftains held significant influence over their communities. This organization allowed them to mobilize quickly in response to military challenges, demonstrating their resilience and adaptability. However, the expansion of the Roman Republic was motivated by both economic interests and the desire for territorial dominance. As Rome sought to expand its influence, it perceived the Illyrian tribes as obstacles to its ambitions. The Illyrians' military prowess and their strategic position threatened Roman trade routes, compelling the Republic to engage militarily. This clash of ambitions set the stage for a series of conflicts that would shape the destinies of both the Illyrians and the Romans. The onset of the Illyrian Wars marked a turning point in the balance of power in the region. In addition to military confrontations, the Illyrian Wars reflect broader themes of cultural exchange and conflict in ancient history. The interactions between the Illyrians and the Romans resulted in a complex dynamic where warfare coexisted with trade and cultural exchange. Despite the violence, there were moments of collaboration that contributed to the mutual understanding of both cultures. The legacy of these interactions would influence the cultural and historical trajectory of the region long after the wars had concluded. Understanding this multifaceted context enriches our perspective. The First Illyrian War began in 229 BC, initiated by the Roman Republic as a response to perceived threats posed by the Illyrians. Tensions escalated when the Illyrian king, Agron, expanded his influence over the Adriatic Sea, disrupting Roman trade routes and provoking concern among Roman leaders. The Illyrians were known for their naval capabilities, and their control over key maritime routes threatened Rome's economic interests. The Republic viewed military intervention as a necessity to secure its position in the region and protect its trading partners. Rome's military strategy during the First Illyrian War involved a combination of land and naval operations. The Roman fleet was dispatched to challenge Illyrian naval supremacy, while ground troops advanced into Illyrian territories. The Roman legions, well-trained and organized, sought to exploit any weaknesses within the Illyrian forces. The Illyrians, under King Agron, initially put up a fierce resistance, employing guerrilla tactics and utilizing their knowledge of the local terrain to counter Roman advances. Despite their fierce resistance, the Illyrians faced significant challenges in the face of Roman military discipline and strategy. The Romans were able to capture several key Illyrian cities, undermining the tribe's ability to coordinate a unified defense. The siege of the city of Epidamnos, modern-day Duras, marked a turning point in the war, demonstrating Rome's resolve to establish dominance over the region. The fall of this strategic city weakened Illyrian morale and control, making it increasingly difficult for Agron to maintain cohesion among the various tribes. This phase of the war, the First Illyrian War, concluded in 227 BC, with a treaty that imposed significant restrictions on Illyrian sovereignty. The defeat marked a substantial shift in power dynamics in the region, as the Romans established themselves as the dominant force in the Adriatic. However, the Illyrians managed to retain some degree of autonomy, although under Roman oversight. This war set a precedent for future conflicts, establishing a pattern of resistance and adaptation that would characterize the Illyrian experience in the face of Roman expansion. The legacy of this conflict reverberated through subsequent generations. The Second Illyrian War erupted in 219 BC. As a direct consequence of lingering tensions between the Illyrians and the Roman Republic. Following the conclusion of the First Illyrian War, the Illyrians were allowed to maintain a semblance of independence. However, this was a fragile peace. The political landscape was further complicated by the rise of a new Illyrian leader, Teuta, who adopted a more aggressive stance towards Rome. Teuta's expansionist ambitions and her support for piracy in the Adriatic Sea alarmed Roman authorities, prompting them to. Teuta's initial response to Roman aggression was to rally the Illyrian tribes and assert her authority. She sought to unify the tribes against the common enemy, demonstrating her leadership skills and military acumen. However, the internal divisions among the tribes made it difficult to forge a cohesive front against the Romans. Despite her efforts, the Illyrian forces were not adequately prepared for the scale of the Roman military machine, which had grown more formidable since the First Illyrian War. The Romans capitalized on this disunity, employing both military. The conflict escalated as the Romans launched a series of successful campaigns against Illyrian strongholds. The Roman legions, led by skilled generals, systematically dismantled Teuta's military capabilities. Key battles were fought along the Adriatic coast, where the Roman navy played a decisive role in neutralizing Illyrian maritime strength. The Roman forces implemented siege tactics and blockades, further isolating Illyrian cities and disrupting supply lines. The capture of strategic locations not only weakened Teuta's military. The Second Illyrian War concluded in 212 BC, with a treaty that imposed even harsher conditions on the Illyrians. Teuta was forced to relinquish significant territorial claims and limit her naval activities, effectively curtailing Illyrian power in the region. This defeat marked the end of the Illyrian Kingdom's autonomy and solidified Roman control over the Adriatic Sea. Despite their military losses, the Illyrians continued to resist Roman domination, demonstrating a remarkable spirit of resilience. The Second Illyrian War exemplified the complex interplay between military power, tribal dynamics, and cultural identity. The aftermath of the Illyrian Wars had profound implications for both the Illyrians and the Roman Republic. For the Illyrians, the consequences of defeat were significant and far-reaching. With the imposition of Roman authority, the previously independent tribes faced a new reality characterized by subjugation and loss of autonomy. The harsh terms of the treaties stripped the Illyrians of their power, forcing them to navigate a complex landscape of Roman governance while attempting to preserve their cultural identity. The legacy of these wars served as a reminder of their resilience and determination. Roman control over the Illyrian territories resulted in significant administrative changes. The Romans established provinces and imposed their systems of governance, leading to the integration of Illyrian lands into the broader Roman Empire. This integration brought both challenges and opportunities for the Illyrians. On one hand, they faced increased taxation and the erosion of traditional governance structures. On the other hand, they gained access to Roman infrastructure, trade networks, and cultural exchanges. This duality illustrates the complexities of life under Rome. Culturally, the aftermath of the Illyrian Wars led to a blending of traditions between the Romans and the Illyrians. As the Romans settled in the region, they brought their customs, language, and legal systems, which began to influence Illyrian society. However, many Illyrians retained their cultural practices, creating a rich tapestry of shared traditions. The preservation of Illyrian identity amidst Roman influence highlights the enduring nature of cultural heritage and the ability of societies to adapt to changing circumstances while maintaining their core values. The legacy of the Illyrian Wars continues to resonate in modern Albanian culture. The struggles and triumphs of the Illyrians serve as a source of national pride and identity. Contemporary Albanians often look back to their Illyrian ancestors as symbols of resilience and strength. This historical narrative contributes to a sense of belonging and cultural continuity, reinforcing the idea that understanding the past is crucial for shaping a cohesive future. Geography played a pivotal role in shaping the dynamics of the Illyrian Wars, influencing both military strategies and the socio-political landscape of the region. The Illyrians inhabited a rugged terrain characterized by mountains, valleys, and a lengthy coastline along the Adriatic Sea. This geographical diversity presented both advantages and challenges for the Illyrians. The mountainous regions provided natural fortifications that facilitated defense against invasions, while the coast enabled them to engage in maritime trade and fishing. However, these same geographical features the Adriatic Sea served as a critical arena for conflict during the Illyrian Wars, as control over maritime routes was essential for both trade and military strategy. The Illyrian navy, though initially formidable, struggled against the more organized Roman fleet. Roman naval supremacy allowed them to effectively blockade Illyrian ports and disrupt trade, crippling the Illyrian economy. The significance of naval power in these conflicts underscores the importance of maritime geography in shaping the outcomes of warfare. Control over the Adriatic was not merely a matter of military might, it was also about the internal geography of Illyrian territories, with its diverse tribes and varying loyalties, further complicated the situation. The Illyrian tribes were often divided, each with its own interests and leadership structures. This fragmentation hindered their ability to mount a unified defense against the Roman onslaught. While some tribes resisted Roman encroachment, others sought alliances with Rome for their own gain, demonstrating the complexity of tribal dynamics in the face of external threats. This disunity ultimately played a significant role in the success of Roman military campaigns. Despite the challenges posed by geography, the Illyrians displayed remarkable adaptability. They utilized their knowledge of the land to employ guerrilla tactics and ambush strategies against Roman forces. The Illyrian ability to navigate their rugged terrain showcased their resilience and resourcefulness. The interplay between geography and military strategy illustrates the complexities of the Illyrian Wars and highlights the enduring spirit of the Illyrian people in the face of The Illyrian culture was deeply intertwined with their approach to warfare, influencing their military strategies and practices. The Illyrians were known for their warrior ethos, where bravery and valor were highly esteemed. This cultural valor was reflected in their military organization, which relied on tribal cohesion and personal loyalty to chieftains. Illyrian warriors were often fiercely independent, fighting not only for their tribes but also for their honor and reputation. This cultural context shaped their approach to warfare, where battles were not merely about conquest but also about affirming their identity and legacy. Rituals and traditions associated with warfare played a significant role in Illyrian society. Before battles, the Illyrians engaged in ceremonies to invoke the favor of their gods and ancestors. These rituals served to unite the warriors and bolster their morale, reinforcing their commitment to the fight. The importance of ritual in Illyrian warfare underscores the deep connection between spirituality and military action in their culture. For the Illyrians, the weapons and armor also reflected the Illyrian culture and artistry. Illyrian warriors wielded a variety of weapons, including swords, spears, and shields, many of which were intricately designed and adorned with symbolic motifs. The craftsmanship of Illyrian weapons showcased their technological advancements and artistic sensibilities. This attention to detail not only served practical purposes in battle, but also conveyed messages of identity and pride. The materials used and the styles adopted by Illyrian warriors contributed to their distinct military aesthetic. The cultural impact of warfare extended beyond the battlefield, shaping the social fabric of Illyrian communities. The experiences of war forged strong bonds among warriors and fostered a sense of communal identity. Victories were celebrated with communal feasts and storytelling, reinforcing cultural narratives and collective memory. The legacy of these experiences continued to resonate through generations, influencing the values and traditions of future societies in the region. The Illyrian culture of warfare illustrates the intricate interplay between identity, honor, and the communal spirit. From the Roman perspective, the Illyrian Wars represented a critical phase in their expansionist strategy and a necessary response to perceived threats in the Adriatic region. Roman leaders viewed the Illyrians as both a military challenge and an economic opportunity. The Illyrians' control over key trade routes and resources made them an attractive target for conquest. The wars were framed as a means of securing Roman interests and establishing a stable political order in the Balkans. This rationale highlights the strategic thinking that guided Roman military decisions. The Roman military approach to the Illyrian Wars was characterized by careful planning and execution. Roman generals utilized a combination of land and naval tactics, employing legions and warships to effectively coordinate their campaigns. The Roman military was renowned for its discipline, organization, and innovative strategies, which played a significant role in their success against the Illyrians. This military effectiveness was underscored by the efficient logistics that allowed for rapid troop movements and the ability to sustain prolonged campaigns. The Roman emphasis on military prowess. Moreover, the Roman perspective on the Illyrians was influenced by cultural perceptions and stereotypes. The Illyrians were often depicted as fierce warriors, but also as barbaric and uncivilized. Roman propaganda played a crucial role in shaping public opinion about the Illyrians, framing the conflicts as a civilizing mission. This narrative sought to justify Roman actions and promote a sense of superiority over the Illyrians. Such depictions reflected broader themes of cultural identity and the dynamics of power between civilizations, revealing the complexities of Roman attitudes toward conquered peoples. In the aftermath of the Illyrian Wars, Roman perspectives shifted as the integration of Illyrian territories into the empire brought new challenges and opportunities. The previously held views of Illyrians as barbaric began to evolve as Romans recognized the contributions of Illyrian culture and craftsmanship. The blending of Roman and Illyrian traditions resulted in a rich cultural exchange that shaped the identity of the region. This transformation underscores the dynamic. The Illyrian Wars offer valuable lessons for contemporary society, emphasizing themes of resilience, identity, and the complexities of cultural interactions. One of the primary lessons is the importance of unity in the face of external threats. The Illyrians, despite their bravery and military prowess, struggled to maintain a cohesive front against the organized Roman military. Their experiences serve as a reminder of the necessity for collaboration and solidarity among communities in addressing challenges. This lesson is particularly relevant today, as societies navigate complex global issues that require collective action and shared purpose. Another crucial lesson is the significance of cultural identity in times of conflict. The Illyrians fiercely defended their way of life and cultural heritage, illustrating the deep connection between identity and resilience. The preservation of cultural traditions in the face of adversity is essential for fostering a sense of belonging and continuity within communities. This emphasizes the importance of recognizing and valuing diverse cultural heritage. Furthermore, the Illyrian Wars highlight the consequences of imperial ambitions and the impact of military conflict on local populations. The struggles faced by the Illyrians remind us of the human cost of warfare and the need for empathy and understanding in international relations. The lessons learned from these historical conflicts prompt contemporary societies to seek diplomatic solutions to disputes rather than resorting to violence. Promoting dialogue, cooperation, and mutual respect is crucial in building a more peaceful and just world. In conclusion, the legacy of the Illyrian Wars continues to resonate, providing insights into the complexities of cultural interactions and the importance of resilience. By studying these historical events, we can better understand the dynamics of identity, power, and cooperation that shape our world today. The lessons from the Illyrian Wars serve as a call to action, encouraging individuals and communities to strive for unity, cultural preservation, and peaceful resolutions to conflicts, fostering a more harmonious future. The history of the Illyrians is characterized by a series of influential kings who played pivotal roles in shaping the political landscape of the region. The rise of these kings can be traced back to the early tribal societies where leadership was often based on lineage, military prowess, and the ability to unite various tribes. Over time, certain individuals emerged as prominent figures, gaining power and recognition through military victories, strategic alliances, and successful governance. This gradual emergence of kingship marked a transition from fragmented tribal leadership to centralized authority, laying. One of the earliest and most notable Illyrian kings was Agron, who ruled during the 3rd century BC. Agron's reign was marked by territorial expansion and military conquests, allowing him to unite several Illyrian tribes under his banner. His leadership style was characterized by a combination of charisma, strength, and a deep understanding of the political dynamics of the time. Agron's ability to forge alliances with neighboring tribes and assert dominance over key territories established him as a powerful leader in the Adriatic region. His influence set a precedent for future Illyrian rulers, and Agron's wife Teuta would later become a significant figure in her own right, further demonstrating the evolving nature of Illyrian leadership. After Agron's death, Teuta took the reins of power and continued his legacy of expansion and resistance against external threats, particularly from the Roman Republic. Her leadership showcased the role of women in Illyrian society, breaking traditional gender norms by leading her people during a time of crisis. Teuta's reign highlighted the dynamic nature of Illyrian leadership, where power could be wielded effectively by both men and women. The rise of Illyrian kings also coincided with the increasing interaction with neighboring cultures, such as the Greeks and the Romans. This exposure led to the adoption of certain practices and ideas that influenced Illyrian leadership styles. The incorporation of Hellenistic elements, such as administrative techniques and military strategies, allowed Illyrian kings to enhance their governance. The blending of local traditions with external influences resulted in a unique political culture that shaped the trajectory of Illyrian society. As the kings navigated these complex interactions, they played a crucial role. King Agron is often celebrated as one of the most significant figures in Illyrian history, renowned for his military acumen and leadership qualities. Ascending to power during a tumultuous period, Agron recognized the need for unity among the disparate Illyrian tribes to effectively counter external threats. His efforts to consolidate power were marked by a series of successful military campaigns that expanded Illyrian territories and increased his influence in the Adriatic region. Agron's reign symbolized a turning point for the Illyrians. As his leader, Agron's military strategies were characterized by innovative tactics and a keen understanding of the battlefield. He employed both conventional warfare and guerrilla tactics, leveraging the knowledge of the terrain to his advantage. The ability to mobilize various tribes under a single banner was a testament to his charisma and leadership skills. Agron's victories against rival tribes and external enemies enhanced his reputation as a formidable leader, inspiring loyalty among his followers. His success on the battlefield contributed to the unification of the Illyrian tribes, creating a sense of collective identity. In addition to military achievements, Agron's reign saw advancements in trade and commerce. By securing key trade routes and establishing alliances with neighboring cultures, he facilitated economic growth within Illyrian territories. This economic prosperity strengthened the political power of the Illyrians, enabling Agron to invest in infrastructure and enhance the quality of life for his people. Agron's commitment to economic development underscored the multifaceted nature of his leadership, demonstrating that effective governance extended beyond military might to encompass social and economic stability. Tragically, Agron's reign was cut short by his untimely death, leaving a power vacuum that would be filled by his ambitious wife, Teuta. However, his legacy lived on, shaping the aspirations and identity of future Illyrian leaders. The principles of unity, strength, and economic prosperity that Agron championed continued to resonate within Illyrian society. His ability to inspire loyalty and foster a sense of identity among the tribes set a precedent. Teuta, the widow of King Agron, emerged as a powerful and influential ruler during a critical period in Illyrian history. After Agron's death, Teuta assumed control of the throne and quickly established herself as a formidable leader. Her reign was marked by military aggression and a commitment to preserving Illyrian sovereignty in the face of Roman expansion. Teuta's leadership not only exemplified the resilience of the Illyrian people, but also challenged contemporary gender norms, showcasing the capability. Under Teuta's leadership, the Illyrians launched a series of military campaigns aimed at asserting their dominance in the Adriatic Sea. She was known for supporting piracy against Roman merchant vessels, viewing these actions as a necessary measure to protect Illyrian interests and maintain economic independence. Teuta's strategic use of naval power showcased her understanding of the geopolitical landscape and her commitment to defending her people's way of life. Her ability to rally the Illyrian tribes in support of her military endeavors further demonstrated her effectiveness as a leader during a time of crisis. Teuta's reign was not without its challenges, particularly as the Roman Republic sought to expand its influence in the region. The increasing tensions between Illyria and Rome ultimately culminated in the First Illyrian War. Despite her initial successes, Teuta faced significant military setbacks as Roman forces advanced into Illyrian territories. The power dynamics shifted dramatically, highlighting the vulnerabilities of her position. However, Teuta's resilience in the face of adversity. Despite the challenges, Teuta's legacy endures as a testament to the strength and agency of women in leadership roles. Her reign demonstrated that effective governance could transcend traditional gender roles, as she successfully navigated complex political landscapes while advocating for the interests of her people. Teuta's story continues to inspire modern discussions about female leadership and empowerment, reminding us of the diverse voices that have shaped history. Her unwavering commitment to her people and her indomitable spirit serve as a powerful reminder of the potential. Leadership in Illyrian society extended beyond mere military prowess. It encompassed social cohesion, cultural identity, and community engagement. The Illyrians valued strong leaders who could unite various tribes under a common banner, while also respecting individual tribal customs and traditions. This duality of leadership fostered a sense of belonging among the Illyrian people, allowing them to maintain their distinct cultural identities even in times of crisis. Effective leadership was characterized by the ability to balance authority with collaboration, ensuring that the Illyrian kings and queens were not only political figures, they also played crucial roles in the cultural and spiritual life of their communities. Leaders often served as custodians of traditions, rituals, and religious practices, reinforcing the cultural fabric of Illyrian society. The ability to connect with the people on a cultural and emotional level was essential for leaders to gain loyalty and support. This cultural connection was particularly important during times of war, as leaders who could inspire and motivate their followers were more likely to achieve military success and maintain unity among the tribes. Moreover, the role of leadership in Illyrian society was closely tied to the concept of honor. Leaders were expected to embody values such as bravery, loyalty, and integrity, serving as role models for their followers. The honor of a leader was intertwined with the honor of their tribe, creating a system of accountability where leaders were expected to act in the best interests of their people. This emphasis on honor and accountability ensured that the legacy of Illyrian leadership continues to resonate in contemporary discussions about governance and social cohesion. The principles of unity, cultural preservation, and ethical leadership remain relevant today as societies strive to navigate complex challenges. The Illyrian experience serves as a reminder that effective leadership is rooted in understanding the needs and aspirations of the people, fostering collaboration and upholding values that promote social harmony. The lessons drawn from Illyrian leadership can inform modern approaches to governance, emphasizing the importance of inclusivity and cultural sensitivity. The legacy of the Illyrian kings extends far beyond their lifetimes, influencing the cultural and political landscape of the region for centuries. The unification efforts of kings like Agron and Teuta laid the groundwork for a sense of Illyrian identity that persisted even after the fall of their kingdoms. Their leadership styles, characterized by resilience and adaptability, set precedents for future generations. The narrative of their reigns has become The impact of Illyrian kings can also be seen in the cultural artifacts that have survived through time, From intricate pottery to weaponry and jewelry, the craftsmanship of the Illyrians reflects the artistic achievements of their society. Many of these artifacts carry inscriptions and motifs that tell stories of kings and their exploits, contributing to the understanding of Illyrian culture and heritage. The preservation of these cultural legacies underscores the significance of the kings in shaping the artistic and historical narrative of the region. Furthermore, the interactions between Illyrian kings and neighboring cultures have left an indelible mark on the history of the Balkans. The blending of Illyrian traditions with Hellenistic and Roman influences created a rich tapestry of cultural exchange that shaped the identity of the region. The legacy of the Illyrian kings serves as a reminder of the importance of adaptability in cross-cultural interactions in shaping societies. The ability to integrate diverse influences while maintaining Ultimately, the legacy of Illyrian kings is a testament to their enduring influence on the cultural and political landscape of the Balkans. Their stories of courage, resilience, and leadership continue to inspire generations, reinforcing the idea that strong leadership can transcend time and leave a lasting impact. By examining the legacies of these rulers, modern societies can draw valuable lessons about the importance of unity, cultural identity, and the role of leadership in navigating the complexities of history. The Roman conquest of Illyrian territories marked a significant turning point in the history of the region, reshaping the political landscape and altering the dynamics of leadership. The Illyrian Wars, initiated by Rome, aimed to subjugate the Illyrian tribes and establish Roman authority over the Adriatic. The defeat of Teuta and her forces signaled the end of Illyrian independence, leading to the annexation of their territories into the Roman Empire. This conquest represented not only a military victory, the integration of Illyrian territories into the Roman Empire brought about a significant shift in leadership structures. The traditional tribal systems of governance were gradually replaced by Roman administrative practices, diminishing the power and influence of local kings. While some Illyrian leaders collaborated with the Romans, seeking to maintain their status and influence, many faced a loss of autonomy. The imposition of Roman rule challenged the established norms of Illyrian leadership, as the once proud kings were relegated to lesser roles within the new imperial framework. Despite these challenges, the legacy of Illyrian kings persisted within the broader context of Roman rule. The integration of Illyrian culture and traditions into the Roman Empire led to a unique blending of influences, resulting in a rich cultural tapestry that reflected the diverse identities of the region. The preservation of Illyrian customs and practices within Roman society showcased the resilience of cultural identity in the face of conquest. This cultural synthesis underscores. Moreover, the legacy of the Illyrian kings continues to resonate in the collective memory of the region. The stories of Agron, Teuta, and other rulers have become symbols of resistance and resilience against foreign domination. Their narratives serve as reminders of the importance of cultural heritage and identity, inspiring contemporary discussions about sovereignty and self-determination. The influence of Roman conquest on Illyrian leadership and identity illustrates the multifaceted nature of historical narratives, where stories of power, adaptation, and the examination of Illyrian leadership offers valuable lessons that resonate beyond the confines of history, providing insights applicable to contemporary society. One of the primary lessons is the significance of unity in governance. The ability of Illyrian kings to unite diverse tribes under a common cause highlights the importance of collaboration and solidarity in addressing challenges. In modern contexts, this lesson remains relevant as societies navigate complex issues requiring collective action and cooperation. Effective leadership is characterized by the ability to foster unity among diverse groups, emphasizing. Another key lesson is the adaptability of leadership in the face of adversity. The experiences of Illyrian kings, particularly in their interactions with external powers, demonstrate the necessity of being flexible and responsive to changing circumstances. Leaders who can adapt their strategies and approaches in response to evolving challenges are better equipped to navigate the complexities of governance. This lesson underscores the importance of resilience and innovation in leadership, encouraging contemporary leaders to embrace change and seek creative solutions to pressing issues. Furthermore, the Illyrian experience highlights the role of cultural identity in shaping leadership. The commitment of Illyrian kings to preserve their cultural heritage while engaging with neighboring civilizations illustrates the significance of cultural sensitivity in governance. Modern leaders can learn from this example by recognizing the importance of honoring diverse cultural narratives and fostering inclusivity. By valuing the contributions of various cultural perspectives. In conclusion, the lessons drawn from Illyrian leadership provide a roadmap for contemporary governance. The principles of unity, adaptability, and cultural sensitivity are essential for effective leadership in an increasingly interconnected world. By embracing these lessons, modern leaders can navigate the complexities of governance while fostering resilience, collaboration, and a deeper understanding of the diverse identities that shape our societies. The enduring legacy of Illyrian kings transcends the annals of history, continuing to shape the identity and aspirations of contemporary societies in the Balkans. The stories of Queen Teuta and their successors serve as powerful symbols of resilience, courage, and cultural pride. Their experiences resonate deeply with modern Albanians and others in the region, fostering a sense of connection to a rich historical narrative that predates the Roman conquest. The legacy of these rulers, the cultural artifacts and historical narratives associated with Illyrian kings contribute to the preservation of their legacy. Archaeological discoveries, such as tombs, pottery, and weaponry, provide tangible links to the past, allowing contemporary societies to engage with their history in meaningful ways. These artifacts serve as reminders of the artistic achievements and technological advancements of the Illyrians, reinforcing the importance of cultural heritage in shaping identity. The ongoing efforts to study and celebrate Illyrian history highlight the enduring significance. Moreover, the lessons learned from Illyrian leadership continue to inform contemporary discussions about governance and identity. The principles of unity, adaptability, and cultural preservation remain relevant in addressing modern challenges. As societies grapple with issues of identity, sovereignty, and social cohesion, the legacy of Illyrian kings serves as a source of inspiration for fostering resilience and collaboration. Their stories encourage individuals and communities to embrace their heritage while navigating the complexities of a rapidly changing world. In conclusion, the legacy of Illyrian kings is a testament to the enduring power of leadership and cultural identity. Their experiences, struggles, and triumphs continue to resonate, reminding us of the importance of understanding history in shaping our present and future. By honoring the legacy of these rulers, contemporary societies can draw valuable insights from the past, fostering unity, resilience, and a deeper appreciation for the rich tapestry of cultural heritage that defines the Balkans. The Illyrian Wars, fought between the Roman Republic and the Illyrian tribes in the 3rd century BC, were pivotal conflicts that reshaped the political landscape of the Adriatic region. To understand these wars, one must consider the context in which they occurred. During this period, Rome was expanding its influence throughout the Mediterranean, seeking to establish dominance over trade routes and territories. The Illyrian tribes, known for their fierce independence and warrior culture, posed a challenge to Roman ambitions, leading to tensions that would erupt into conflict. The Illyrians, composed of various tribes with distinct identities and customs, had their own internal power struggles. This fragmentation made it difficult for them to present a unified front against external threats, such as Roman expansion. While some Illyrian leaders like King Agron had achieved temporary unity through military conquests, the underlying tribal rivalries remained a significant obstacle. This lack of cohesion would ultimately play a crucial role in the outcome. In addition to internal divisions, the geopolitical landscape of the region further complicated the situation. The Illyrians had long-standing interactions with neighboring Greek city-states, which influenced their political and military strategies. The presence of Hellenistic powers, along with the growing ambitions of Rome, created a volatile environment where alliances were fragile and conflicts were commonplace. As the Illyrians navigated these complexities, their attempts to assert sovereignty clashed with the relentless advance of Roman authority, setting the stage for inevitable confrontation. The Illyrian Wars can be seen as a microcosm of the larger struggle for power in the ancient world, highlighting the tensions between emerging empires and established cultures. The wars not only represented a battle for territory but also a clash of identities, values, and ways of life. The consequences of these conflicts would reverberate through history, influencing the trajectories of both Roman and Illyrian societies. As the wars unfolded, the legacy of the First Illyrian War, which erupted in 229 BC, marked a crucial turning point in the relations between Rome and the Illyrian tribes. The war was ignited by tensions surrounding piracy in the Adriatic Sea, as Illyrian pirates began attacking Roman merchant ships, disrupting trade and commerce. This aggression prompted Rome to intervene militarily, viewing the Illyrians as a significant threat to their growing economic interests. The war officially began when Roman envoys were sent to demand the cessation of piracy, only to be met with hostility from Queen Teuta of the Illyrians. Teuta, who had taken over leadership after the death of her husband Agron, was determined to assert Illyrian sovereignty and protect her people's way of life. Her refusal to capitulate to Roman demands escalated the conflict, leading to a series of military engagements between Roman forces and Illyrian warriors. The Roman army, equipped with superior tactics and discipline, swiftly gained the upper hand in the early stages of the war. Roman commanders, such as Lucius Postumius Albinus, despite initial setbacks, Teuta rallied her forces, emphasizing the need for unity among the Illyrian tribes to counter the Roman invasion. However, internal divisions and lack of coordination among the tribes hindered their efforts to resist effectively. The Illyrians employed guerrilla tactics and used their knowledge of the terrain to their advantage, but these strategies proved insufficient against the disciplined Roman legions. The war dragged on, revealing the complexities of leadership in times of crisis and highlighting the challenges faced by the Illyrians in maintaining cohesion. Ultimately, the First Illyrian War concluded with a decisive Roman victory. The Treaty of Phoenice in 228 BC marked the end of hostilities, forcing Teuta to surrender and curtail her naval activities. The outcome of the war had profound implications for the Illyrians, as it not only signaled the decline of their independence, but also established Roman authority over significant portions of Illyrian territory. The repercussions of this the Second Illyrian War, which erupted in 219 BC, was a direct consequence of the unresolved tensions stemming from the First Illyrian War. Following the defeat of Queen Teuta, the Illyrian tribes remained fragmented and discontented under Roman rule. The Roman Senate sought to consolidate its control over the region, but the unrest among the Illyrians created an opportunity for resistance. The re-emergence of Illyrian leadership under King Gentius, who united various tribes against Roman dominance, posed a significant challenge to Roman authority in the Adriatic. Gentius, who ascended to the throne during a period of political fragmentation, aimed to restore Illyrian pride and independence. He sought alliances with neighboring tribes and external powers, including the Macedonians, in a bid to challenge Roman supremacy. The potential for a united Illyrian front alarmed the Romans, prompting them to prepare for another military engagement. The Second Illyrian War was the Roman military, under the command of Consul Publius Sulpicius Galba, launched a series of offensives against Gentius and his forces. The Romans employed advanced tactics, combining their formidable infantry with naval support to disrupt Illyrian supply lines. Despite initial successes, Gentius faced difficulties in maintaining unity among the tribes. The diverse motivations and aspirations of the Illyrian factions often clashed, hindering their ability to coordinate effectively against the organized Roman forces. This fragmentation the war culminated in a decisive Roman victory at the Battle of Scodra, where Gentius was captured and the Illyrian resistance was effectively dismantled. The Treaty of 205 BC marked the end of the Second Illyrian War, solidifying Roman control over the remaining Illyrian territories. The defeat of Gentius and the subsequent Roman annexation had lasting repercussions for the Illyrian tribes, further eroding their autonomy and marking a significant step in the expansion of Roman power in the Balkans. The legacy of the Illyrian Wars would continue to shape the region's identity, influencing the cultural and political dynamics for generations to come. The Illyrian Wars had a profound impact on the Roman Republic, shaping its military strategies, political landscape, and imperial ambitions. The successful campaigns against the Illyrian tribes bolstered Rome's reputation as a formidable military power, establishing its dominance in the Adriatic Sea and enhancing its influence over trade routes. The lessons learned from the conflicts with the Illyrians contributed to the... Furthermore, the Illyrian Wars played a crucial role in Rome's expansionist policies. The annexation of Illyrian territories allowed Rome to project its power beyond the Italian peninsula, establishing a foothold in the Balkans. This territorial expansion was not only driven by military ambitions but also by economic interests, as control over trade routes facilitated the flow of goods and resources into the Roman economy. The wealth generated from these territories contributed to the consolidation of Roman power and paved the way for further military campaigns in the region. The aftermath of the Illyrian Wars also had significant political implications for the Roman Republic. The incorporation of Illyrian lands into the Roman Empire necessitated the establishment of new administrative structures and governance systems. Roman officials were tasked with maintaining order and integrating the local populations, often employing a combination of coercion and diplomacy to secure compliance.
Moreover, the Illyrian Wars contributed to the evolution of Roman identity and culture. The interactions between Romans and Illyrians fostered a cultural exchange that influenced various aspects of Roman society. The adoption of certain Illyrian customs, art forms, and military practices enriched the Roman cultural landscape. The legacy of the Illyrian Wars serves as a reminder of the interconnectedness of ancient societies, illustrating how conflicts can shape not only political boundaries, but also cultural identities that endure through time. The Illyrian Wars had significant cultural ramifications for both the Illyrians and the Romans, influencing the development of cultural identities and expressions in the region. For the Illyrians, the wars resulted in a gradual erosion of their distinct cultural practices as Roman influence permeated their societies. The imposition of Roman governance often meant the adoption of Roman customs, language, and religious practices, leading to a blending of cultures that altered the Illyrian way of life. The integration of Illyrian territories into the Roman Empire also facilitated cultural exchanges between the two societies. The Romans, known for their architectural innovations and engineering feats, brought new building techniques and urban planning concepts to the region. The establishment of Roman towns and infrastructure transformed the landscape, fostering a sense of Roman identity among the inhabitants. The presence of Roman administrative centers, roads, and public buildings contributed to the assimilation of Illyrian communities into the broader Roman cultural sphere. Despite the challenges posed by Roman conquest, some aspects of Illyrian culture survived and adapted. Elements of Illyrian folklore, traditions, and art were integrated into the Roman cultural framework, creating a unique blend of influences. The resilience of Illyrian identity persisted through oral traditions and localized practices, highlighting the capacity for cultural continuity in the face of external pressures. The preservation of certain Illyrian customs. Furthermore, the Illyrian Wars prompted reflections on themes of identity, resistance, and cultural survival that resonate throughout history. The experiences of the Illyrians during the conflicts have been interpreted in various ways, serving as symbols of resilience against foreign domination. This narrative continues to inspire contemporary discussions about cultural heritage, nationalism, and the complexities of identity in an ever-changing world. The cultural ramifications of the Illyrian Wars extend beyond the past, informing modern perspectives on the importance of preserving cultural diversity and understanding historical legacies. The Illyrian Wars underscored the critical role of leadership in warfare and the challenges faced by rulers in navigating the complexities of conflict. The leadership of Queen Teuta and King Gentius exemplified the dynamics of authority during times of crisis. Teuta's initial response to Roman aggression highlighted her determination to assert Illyrian sovereignty, but it also revealed the limitations of her leadership in the face of a powerful adversary. Similarly, Gentius's attempts to rally support among the Illyrian tribes showcased the difficulties of maintaining cohesion in the midst of external threats. Despite his ambitions to forge alliances and resist Roman rule, the fragmented nature of Illyrian society made it challenging for him to establish a unified command. The lack of collaboration among the tribes weakened their resistance against the disciplined Roman forces, emphasizing the importance of effective leadership in times of conflict. The experiences of these rulers serve as valuable lessons. The Roman commanders, in contrast, demonstrated a capacity for strategic planning and adaptability that proved crucial in their military campaigns. The disciplined organization of Roman legions, combined with effective communication and coordination, allowed them to execute successful military operations against the Illyrians. Roman leaders understood the significance of leveraging local knowledge and forging alliances with sympathetic factions, enhancing their military effectiveness. The contrasting approaches to leadership in warfare between the Romans and Illyrians highlight the dynamics. Moreover, the Illyrian Wars serve as a case study in the evolution of military leadership and the lessons that can be drawn from historical conflicts. The experiences of both Illyrian and Roman leaders offer insights into the challenges of decision-making, the necessity of adaptability, and the importance of collaboration in warfare. Understanding the role of leadership in these conflicts can inform contemporary discussions about military strategy and the complexities of governance in times of crisis. The Illyrian Wars left an indelible mark on the historical landscape of the Balkans, shaping the trajectory of subsequent events and influencing the identities of the region's peoples. The conflicts not only resulted in the annexation of Illyrian territories by Rome, but also set a precedent for future imperial expansions. The lessons learned from the Illyrian Wars informed Roman military strategies in subsequent campaigns across. The legacy of the Illyrian Wars extends beyond military outcomes, influencing the cultural and political narratives of the region. The wars serve as a reminder of the resilience of the Illyrian tribes and their efforts to assert sovereignty in the face of external domination. The stories of Queen Teuta and King Gentius have become symbols of resistance, inspiring later generations to embrace their cultural heritage and strive for independence. These narratives continue to resonate in contemporary discussions about national identity and self-determination in the Balkans. Moreover, the impact of the Illyrian Wars can be seen in the enduring cultural exchanges that emerged from the conflicts. The blending of Roman and Illyrian traditions created a rich tapestry of cultural heritage, influencing various aspects of art, architecture, and social practices. The archaeological remains of Roman towns in former Illyrian territories serve as tangible reminders of this cultural fusion, illustrating the complexities of identity formation in the region. The legacy of the Illyrian Wars. In conclusion, the historical legacy of the Illyrian Wars serves as a reminder of the complexities of conflict, identity, and cultural exchange. The experiences of the Illyrians and Romans during these wars continue to inform modern perspectives on sovereignty, cultural heritage, and the resilience of communities in the face of adversity. By understanding the historical context of these conflicts, contemporary societies can draw valuable lessons about the importance of honoring cultural identities and navigating the complexities of historical legacies. The Illyrian Wars continue to resonate in contemporary discussions about identity, sovereignty, and cultural heritage in the Balkans. As nations grapple with their historical narratives and strive to assert their identities, the experiences of the Illyrian tribes during these conflicts offer valuable insights into the enduring struggles for autonomy and self-determination. The legacy of the Illyrian Wars serves as a reminder of the complexity. In the modern context, the Illyrian Wars prompt reflections on the nature of conflict and the dynamics of power in an increasingly interconnected world. The lessons drawn from these historical events can inform contemporary approaches to diplomacy, conflict resolution, and governance. Understanding the factors that contributed to the Illyrian tribes' resistance against Roman domination can provide valuable insights into the challenges faced by marginalized communities today. The enduring spirit of the Illyrians serves as an inspiration for movements advocating for cultural preservation and social justice. Moreover, the cultural heritage associated with the Illyrian Wars remains a vital aspect of regional identity. The preservation of archaeological sites, artifacts, and historical narratives allows contemporary societies to engage with their past in meaningful ways. Efforts to celebrate and promote Illyrian history contribute to a deeper understanding of the region's cultural diversity and complexity. By honoring the legacy of the Illyrian Wars, In conclusion, the reflections on the Illyrian Wars today highlight the importance of historical awareness in shaping contemporary identities. The experiences of the Illyrians during these conflicts continue to inform discussions about sovereignty, cultural heritage, and the complexities of historical legacies. By embracing the lessons of the past, modern societies can navigate the challenges of the present while honoring the rich tapestry of cultural identities that define the Balkans. Illyrian society was unique among ancient civilizations due to the relatively high status enjoyed by women in leadership and everyday life. While other cultures often relegated women to domestic roles, evidence suggests that Illyrian women could hold influential positions, including those of queens and military leaders. The social structure of the Illyrians allowed women to take part in governance and decision-making processes, which was rare for the time. Their active roles highlight a complex, diverse society where power was not strictly gendered. This societal openness toward female authority might have stemmed from the tribal nature of Illyrian communities. Leadership positions, particularly in smaller clans, were often based on merit and family ties rather than strict hereditary rules favoring male descendants. Women who demonstrated strategic thinking, bravery, or wisdom could earn positions of influence. This flexibility in leadership made Illyrian societies resilient and adaptive, especially during periods of war and political turmoil. Archaeological evidence, including grave goods and inscriptions, indicates that elite women were involved in diplomacy and religious practices. These women were buried with weapons, ornaments, and ritual objects, suggesting they held both spiritual and military significance. Their participation in such activities further emphasizes that leadership was not exclusive to men. Additionally, the Illyrian belief system likely contributed to this balance, with female deities and priestesses playing central roles in the religious framework. However, while women held a higher status compared to their counterparts in other ancient civilizations, challenges and limitations still existed. Not every Illyrian woman enjoyed such privileges. Leadership roles were typically reserved for women of noble birth. Yet, even within these limitations, the prominence of women in Illyrian society offers valuable insights into the region's cultural values. Their roles laid the groundwork for figures. Queen Teuta remains one of the most famous figures in Illyrian history, known for her reign during the 3rd century BC and her resistance against Roman expansion. Teuta's rise to power followed the death of her husband, King Agron, who had unified several Illyrian tribes under his rule. Upon his passing, Teuta assumed control not only of the kingdom but also of its military forces. Her leadership marked a pivotal moment in Illyrian history, as she would become both a symbol of resistance and a target of Roman ambition. Teuta's accession to the throne challenged conventional gender roles, even within the relatively open Illyrian society. As Queen Regent, she had to navigate political rivalries both within her kingdom and beyond its borders. Despite these obstacles, Teuta asserted her authority with determination, consolidating power and preparing for external threats. Her reign illustrates Teuta's leadership was soon tested by the growing influence of Rome. At the time, Illyrian ships dominated the Adriatic Sea, engaging in both trade and piracy. Roman merchants, threatened by Illyrian naval activities, demanded intervention from the Senate. When Roman envoys approached Queen Teuta with demands to curtail piracy, her refusal to comply escalated tensions. The conflict that followed would become known as the First Illyrian War, forever linking Teuta's name with defiance against imperial aggression. Although the war ended in Roman victory, Teuta's reign left a lasting legacy. She is remembered as a leader who refused to submit to foreign domination, even when faced with overwhelming odds. Her story has become a symbol of national pride in modern Albania, representing the spirit of resistance and independence. Despite the challenges she faced, Teuta's reign exemplifies the unique challenges female rulers faced, particularly in male-dominated societies and political environments. Governing as a woman required balancing authority with diplomacy, especially when dealing with skeptical male counterparts. Teuta not only had to consolidate her power within Illyria, but also navigate complex diplomatic relationships with neighboring Greek city-states and the expanding Roman Republic. These challenges reveal the delicate balance of power that female rulers had to maintain. One of the most pressing challenges Teuta encountered was resistance from within her own ranks. Some tribal leaders viewed her gender as a weakness, questioning her ability to lead in times of conflict. To counter this skepticism, Teuta demonstrated strategic acumen by strengthening alliances with other tribes and mobilizing military resources effectively. Her ability to maintain, in addition to internal challenges, Teuta had to contend with the perception of female leadership by external powers. The Romans, in particular, underestimated her resolve, believing that her gender made her an easy target for intimidation. However, Teuta's refusal to yield to Roman demands showcased her determination to defend Illyrian sovereignty. This underestimation by her enemies was both a challenge and an advantage, as it allowed her to surprise opponents with unexpected resistance. Teuta's experience highlights the complexities of leadership for women in ancient times. Female rulers had to perform a delicate balancing act, projecting strength without alienating potential allies. They also had to navigate societal expectations, which often limited women to roles of domesticity. Teuta's success in maintaining power for as long as she did reflects her exceptional abilities as a leader. Teuta's military strategy was shaped by the geopolitical realities of her time, particularly the need to defend Illyrian territory from external threats. She focused on maintaining a strong naval presence, understanding the strategic importance of controlling the Adriatic Sea. Illyrian ships were known for their speed and agility, making them effective both for trade and warfare. Teuta leveraged this naval strength to protect her kingdom's interests and challenge Roman dominance in the region. One of Teuta's most effective strategies was her use of piracy to disrupt Roman trade. Rather than relying solely on formal military campaigns, she encouraged Illyrian sailors to engage in piracy against Roman merchant vessels. This approach not only generated wealth for her kingdom, but also weakened Roman economic power, forcing the Republic to divert resources toward protecting its trade routes. While Teuta's ability to rally her forces despite internal divisions was another hallmark of her military strategy. She understood the importance of unity among the Illyrian tribes and worked to forge alliances, even though tribal rivalries often complicated these efforts. Her leadership during the early stages of the First Illyrian War demonstrated her capacity to inspire loyalty among her warriors, emphasizing the need for cooperation in the face of a common enemy. However, Teuta's reliance on naval power also had its limitations. The Roman military, known for its adaptability, quickly adjusted its strategy by deploying fleets to challenge Illyrian dominance at sea. The loss of naval supremacy weakened Teuta's position, forcing her to negotiate with the Romans. Despite the eventual defeat, Teuta's strategic use of naval power remains a test in modern Albania and the wider Balkan region. Queen Teuta's legacy continues to resonate as a symbol of resistance, courage, and national pride. Her story has been embraced as part of the cultural heritage of the region, representing the resilience of the Illyrian people in the face of foreign aggression. Teuta's defiance against Roman expansion is often cited as an early example of the struggle for independence that has shaped the history of the Balkans. Teuta's legacy is particularly significant in contemporary discussions about women's leadership. As one of the few documented female rulers in ancient history, she serves as an inspiration for advocates of gender equality. Her story challenges traditional narratives that depict women as passive figures in history, highlighting instead the active role they can play in governance and resistance. Modern Albania has also embraced Teuta as a national heroine. Her image appears in cultural and artistic representations, symbolizing the spirit of independence that defines the country's identity. Schools and institutions often teach her story as part of the broader narrative of Illyrian history, emphasizing the importance of remembering the contributions of female leaders. Teuta's legacy serves as a reminder that leadership knows no gender, and that determination and courage can overcome even the greatest obstacles. In conclusion, Queen Teuta's reign offers valuable insights into the complexities of leadership, the challenges of governance, and the importance of resilience. Her story has endured through the ages, inspiring generations to embrace the principles of independence and equality. As both a historical figure and a cultural symbol, Teuta's legacy remains. Beyond Queen Teuta, other women in Illyrian society held significant influence, though their stories are less documented. These women played critical roles within their clans, acting as mediators in disputes, spiritual leaders, or military commanders. Archaeological evidence shows that elite women were often buried with ceremonial objects, weapons, and jewelry, suggesting their participation in both governance and warfare. This reflects the complex social structure of Illyrian tribes, where women's power was not limited to a single role. The Illyrian aristocracy allowed noble women to engage in diplomacy, forging alliances between tribes and foreign powers. Some served as advisors to kings or acted as regents during times of political instability. This dual role, combining political strategy with cultural or spiritual responsibilities, demonstrates the flexibility of leadership within Illyrian society. Women were not relegated. Additionally, women had considerable influence in religious practices. Priestesses were often entrusted with the care of sacred sites and rituals. Their connection to the divine added to their authority, granting them respect within their communities. Through these roles, Illyrian women not only maintained cultural traditions but also shaped public policy, influencing decisions that affected their people's welfare and prosperity. Though history largely focuses on male rulers and warriors, the role of women in Illyria was deeply intertwined with governance and social life. Their ability to lead in religious, diplomatic, and military spheres reveals a progressive aspect of Illyrian culture. While not every woman rose to the level of Queen Teuta, many contributed significantly to their societies. Queen Teuta and other female leaders have become part of Albania's cultural memory, shaping modern interpretations of the nation's past. In the national narrative, Teuta's defiance of Roman power represents the ongoing struggle for sovereignty that has characterized the region's history. Her story has become a symbol of Albania's resistance against foreign occupation, inspiring pride in the country's cultural heritage and identity. In literature, art, and education, Teuta's image is frequently invoked as a national heroine. Statues and monuments dedicated to her can be found across Albania, serving as reminders of the region's ancient history and the role women have played in it. Schools teach her story not just as history but as a lesson in leadership, courage, and the pursuit of independence. The significance of Teuta's legacy also extends beyond Albania, influencing perceptions of female leadership throughout the Balkans. In a region where national identities have often been shaped by conflict, her story resonates with contemporary efforts to assert cultural pride and political autonomy. By reclaiming these historical narratives, communities emphasize the importance of understanding their past to shape their future. However, modern interpretations of Teuta's story vary, reflecting the complexities of historical memory. While some portray her as a fearless warrior, others focus on her diplomatic failures and the eventual Roman conquest. These differing perspectives highlight the challenges of using history to construct national narratives. Despite this, Teuta's story continues to. The leadership of Queen Teuta and other Illyrian women offers valuable lessons for contemporary discussions about governance, gender equality, and resistance. One of the most enduring lessons from Teuta's reign is the importance of resilience in leadership. Their ability to maintain power, despite internal and external pressures, demonstrates the need for leaders to remain adaptable in the face of challenges. This lesson is relevant not only for political leaders, but also for individuals navigating personal and professional struggles. Teuta's story also emphasizes the value of collaboration. Although her reign ended in defeat, her efforts to unify the Illyrian tribes illustrate the importance of forging alliances. In modern governance, cooperation between diverse groups remains essential for achieving lasting progress. Teuta's experience serves as a reminder. The example of female leadership in ancient Illyria challenges contemporary assumptions about gender roles in governance. In a world where gender inequality persists, Teuta's reign offers a counter-narrative, demonstrating that women have always been capable of leading with strength and wisdom. Her story encourages modern societies to recognize the value of female leadership and to create opportunities for women to participate fully in political and social life. In conclusion, the leadership of Illyrian women, particularly Queen Teuta, provides a framework for thinking about power, resilience, and equality in the modern world. Their stories inspire individuals and communities to embrace diversity in leadership, promote cooperation, and honor cultural heritage. As history continues to shape the present, the legacy of Illyrian female leaders offers a powerful reminder that leadership is not bound by gender or circumstance, it is defined by courage, vision, and determination.
The Illyrian Wars with Rome were driven by a combination of strategic interests and cultural clashes. Rome's expansion into the Adriatic brought it into direct conflict with the Illyrian tribes, whose control of coastal trade routes was vital to their economy. Illyrians, known for their naval strength and reliance on piracy, disrupted merchant activities in the region, threatening Roman trade. Rome saw the Illyrians' maritime practices as an intolerable obstacle to its ambitions of securing dominance over the Mediterranean. Illyrian piracy, a traditional practice rooted in their economy, was more than opportunistic plundering. For many tribes, piracy was a method of survival, as the rugged landscape of the Balkans made agriculture challenging. In addition to economic motivations, the practice served as a way to assert their independence and maintain control over important trade routes. From Rome's perspective, however, piracy was an attack. Rome's initial response was diplomatic, sending envoys to negotiate with the Illyrian rulers. However, Queen Teuta, the most prominent figure during the early conflicts, dismissed Roman demands and continued to authorize piracy. Her defiance embodied the Illyrian resistance to foreign control and reinforced the idea that sovereignty over the Adriatic was their inherent right. This stubbornness on both sides' Illyrian pride in their independence and Roman determination to control maritime trade made conflict inevitable. The First Illyrian War began in 229 BC, after Rome's diplomatic efforts failed. For the Illyrians, resisting Rome was a matter of survival and pride. For the Romans, the war was necessary to protect trade and expand their influence. These differing perspectives illustrate the complexities behind the conflict. The Illyrians saw Rome as an invading force, while the Romans viewed themselves as guardians. Rome's initial response was diplomatic, sending envoys to negotiate with the Illyrian rulers. However, Queen Teuta, the most prominent figure during the early conflicts, dismissed Roman demands and continued to authorize piracy. Her defiance embodied the Illyrian resistance to foreign control and reinforced the idea that sovereignty over the Adriatic was their inherent right. This stubbornness on both sides' Illyrian pride in their independence and Roman determination to control maritime trade made conflict inevitable. The First Illyrian War began in 229 BC, after Rome's diplomatic efforts failed. For the Illyrians, resisting Rome was a matter of survival and pride. For the Romans, the war was necessary to protect trade and expand their influence. These differing perspectives illustrate the complexities behind the conflict. The Illyrians saw Rome as an invading force, while the Romans viewed themselves as guardians of order. Faced with mounting losses, Queen Teuta was forced to negotiate peace. In 228 BC, she agreed to a treaty that severely restricted Illyrian naval activity, confining it to a small area under Roman supervision. Additionally, she was required to pay tribute to Rome and recognize Roman authority over parts of the Adriatic coast. Although Teuta retained control over a portion of her territory, her influence diminished significantly. The treaty marked the end of the First Illyrian War and established Rome's growing influence in the region. The First Illyrian War set a precedent for future Roman interventions in the Balkans. While the conflict ended in Roman victory, it did not eliminate Illyrian resistance. Many tribes resented Roman interference and continued to challenge Roman authority. The war also revealed the strategic importance of the Adriatic, prompting Rome to maintain a permanent presence in the region. The Second Illyrian War 220–219 BC was a continuation of the struggle between Rome and the Illyrian tribes. After the First Illyrian War, the Romans left a power vacuum in the region, hoping that local rulers would maintain order. However, Demetrius of Pharos, an ambitious Illyrian leader, seized the opportunity to consolidate power and resume piracy. His aggressive actions alarmed the Romans, who saw his rise as a direct threat to their authority in the Adriatic. Demetrius's defiance marked a turning point, as he not only resumed piracy but also sought alliances with other Illyrian tribes. His growing influence threatened to destabilize the region, forcing Rome to intervene once again. In response, the Roman Senate sent a fleet under the command of consul Lucius Aemilius Paulus to confront Demetrius and restore order. The campaign against Demetrius was swift and decisive. The Roman fleet attacked his strongholds, including the island of Pharos, which served as his base of operations. Despite fierce resistance, the Illyrians were outmatched by the superior Roman forces. Demetrius fled to Macedonia, seeking refuge with King Philip V, but his defeat marked the end of large-scale Illyrian resistance. Rome's victory in the Second Illyrian War further consolidated its control over the Adriatic. The outcome of the war had significant consequences for both the Illyrians and Rome. With Demetrius defeated and Illyrian piracy curtailed, Rome established a stronger presence in the region. The war also demonstrated the effectiveness of Rome's military strategy, which combined naval superiority with diplomacy and strategic alliances. Although the Illyrian resistance to Rome was shaped by the tribal nature of their society. Unlike centralized empires, the Illyrians were organized into independent clans and tribes, each with its own leaders and priorities. This decentralized structure allowed them to resist Roman advances for decades, as the defeat of one tribe did not guarantee the submission of others. However, it also limited their ability to coordinate large-scale resistance against a powerful enemy like Rome. Illyrian tribes relied on guerrilla tactics, ambushes, and naval raids to counter Roman forces. Their knowledge of the rugged terrain gave them an advantage in land battles, while their experience in maritime warfare made them formidable at sea. However, their lack of unity often undermined their efforts. While some tribes fought against Rome, the role of tribal leaders like Queen Teuta and Demetrius of Pharos highlights both the strengths and weaknesses of Illyrian resistance. These leaders were able to rally support and challenge Roman authority, but internal rivalries and shifting allegiances limited the effectiveness of their campaigns. The absence of a unified command structure made it difficult to sustain resistance in the long term, giving Rome an advantage in the prolonged conflict. Despite these challenges, the Illyrians demonstrated remarkable resilience. Even after formal defeats in the First and Second Illyrian Wars, they continued to resist Roman rule through localized uprisings and piracy. This ongoing defiance reflected their determination to preserve their independence and maintain control over their traditional territories. Although they ultimately fell to Roman conquest, the fall of Illyria was a gradual but inevitable process as Rome sought to consolidate control over the Balkans. Following the defeat of Demetrius of Pharos, Roman attention shifted towards the remaining independent Illyrian tribes. Though weakened, these tribes continued to resist, but they lacked the resources and unity to pose a significant threat. Roman legions, hardened from campaigns across Europe, moved systematically through the region, dismantling remaining strongholds. One of the decisive moments in the final phase of Illyrian resistance came with the defeat of King Gentius in 168 BC. Gentius, the last significant Illyrian ruler, sought to resist Roman encroachment but was ultimately outmatched. Roman forces captured him during the Third Macedonian War, and his kingdom was annexed into the expanding Roman Republic. This defeat marked the end of the conquest of Illyria was part of Rome's broader strategy to secure its northern borders and control the trade routes of the Adriatic. With Illyria subdued, Rome could focus on expanding further eastward into Macedonia and Greece. The integration of the Balkans into the Roman sphere was essential for securing both military and economic advantages. The Illyrians, once proud defenders of their independence, now found themselves under Roman rule. Despite their military defeat, the Illyrians' legacy would endure. The spirit of resistance persisted in the cultural identity of the region, influencing future generations. Though the Romans imposed new laws and administrative systems, elements of Illyrian culture survived, blending with Roman traditions. The end of Illyria's independence was not just following their defeat. The Illyrians were gradually integrated into the Roman Empire. While some were enslaved or relocated, many found opportunities within the Roman military and administration. Illyrian warriors, known for their bravery and toughness, were highly valued as soldiers. Over time, large numbers of Illyrians enlisted in the Roman army, where they served in both regional and distant campaigns, eventually gaining a reputation for loyalty and discipline. Roman rule brought significant changes to the social and economic structure of Illyrian society. Roads and infrastructure projects were built, connecting remote areas to major trade routes. Urban centers like Dyrrhachium, modern-day Durrës, grew into important Roman cities, facilitating commerce and governance. The presence of Roman officials and settlers introduced new customs, although the process of Romanization was uneven, with some regions adopting Latin language and customs more readily than others. In urban areas, Latin became the primary language, while in more isolated regions, local dialects and traditions endured. Religious practices also evolved as Roman gods were worshipped alongside Illyrian deities, creating a syncretic religious environment. Over time, these cultural exchanges contributed to the unique character of the Balkan provinces under Roman rule. Although they lost political independence, the Illyrians found new ways to thrive within the Roman system. Some individuals rose to prominence, serving as administrators, merchants, and even military commanders. The integration of Illyrians into the Roman state was not merely a process of subjugation, but one of adaptation and opportunity. One of the most notable aspects of Illyrian integration was their significant contribution to the Roman military. Illyrian soldiers played a crucial role in the Roman legions, known for their toughness and ability to endure harsh conditions. The rugged terrain and warrior traditions of Illyria produced disciplined fighters who were well suited for the demands of Roman military life. Over time, Illyrians gained a reputation as reliable soldiers, often assigned to elite units and frontier posts. The importance of Illyrian troops grew as the Roman Empire expanded. Illyrian cavalry units, in particular, were highly regarded for their speed and effectiveness in battle. These units were often deployed along the empire's borders, where their skills in rapid strikes and ambush tactics proved invaluable. Some Illyrians rose to leadership. The presence of Illyrian soldiers was felt not only in the provinces but also in the heart of the Roman Empire. Many Illyrians served in the Praetorian Guard, the elite unit responsible for protecting the emperor. Their prominence in the military extended beyond the battlefield, as they became trusted advisors and influential figures within the Roman court. This integration into the military elite highlighted the important role that Illyrians played in the stability and expansion of the empire. In the later stages of the Roman Empire, several emperors of Illyrian origin rose to power, demonstrating the deep integration of Illyrians into the Roman state. These Illyrian emperors included figures such as Diocletian and Constantine the Great, whose leadership helped shape the course of Roman history. The rise of these leaders exemplifies the lasting impact of Illyrian contribution. The Illyrian Wars, though long over, left a lasting legacy that shaped the history of both the Balkans and the Roman Empire. The wars demonstrated the resilience of the Illyrians, who fought fiercely to maintain their independence despite facing overwhelming odds. Their spirit of resistance became a defining feature of the region, influencing the culture and identity of the people who lived there long after the wars had ended. The wars also marked an important phase in Rome's expansion, as the conquest of Illyria paved the way for further campaigns into Greece and the eastern Mediterranean. Control over the Adriatic allowed Rome to secure vital trade routes and establish a foothold in the Balkans. The incorporation of Illyrian soldiers and leaders into the Roman military. The legacy of the Illyrians can also be seen in the enduring cultural influence they left behind. Although Romanization changed many aspects of life in the region, elements of Illyrian culture persisted, blending with Roman customs to create a unique local identity. This cultural fusion shaped the development of the Balkans during the Roman period and beyond, leaving traces that can still be observed in the region's traditions and history today. Ultimately, the story of the Illyrian Wars is one of both defeat and survival. While the Illyrians lost their independence, they found ways to adapt and thrive within the Roman system. Their contributions to the empire, particularly in the military, were significant, demonstrating the resilience and resourcefulness of a people who refused to be completely subdued. The Illyrian Wars may have ended centuries ago, but their impact continues to resonate in the history and identity of the Balkans.